The Arcturian Group. Channeled through Marilyn Raphael. June 7, 2015. The Arcturian Group.
Dear ones, rapid change is taking place for many by choice as well as by need. The path of evolution can be difficult up to the point at which a spiritual transition takes place and truth becomes one state of consciousness and begins to manifest at that level. Much of what is being projected into world consciousness through the media, churches, government, etc., simply no longer resonates with many of you. Long-standing lifestyles and traditions often involving friends and/or family are beginning to feel old and finished. Some beliefs are easily left behind and no one even notices, but frequently attempts toward personal change serve to activate a period of intense questioning, judgment, and criticism from family and friends. This may cause the awakening student to doubt or even return to what is familiar, but because he has evolved and is no longer resonating with the past, he will not stay in what is finished. Confusion and doubt often occurs as an individual begins to receive and contemplate ideas of truth completely foreign to his present belief system. As a once solid spiritual foundation begins to dissolve, it becomes extremely stressful for those holding structured religious beliefs. Be not afraid, dear ones, for there are no accidents at this point. Know that you are always being guided, and are never alone. The higher self always brings forth what is needed when you are ready. Learn to trust the process, knowing that at this point you are right where you need to be, doing what you need to do, and doing a fine job of it. Discouragement with its sense of failure are the manifestations of a consciousness filled with I should. I need to. There is only one right way. All facets of duality and separation. It is time to cease the ever-running inner dialogue of self-criticism and judgment, allowing these beliefs to dissolve into the nothingness they are. There are no shoulds in higher dimensional energies, only love for every individual and their choices. As spiritual students, you are at a point where you cannot evolve further until acknowledging self. Spiritual students the world throughout time and now have struggled to find and understand what God is. Many gods and concepts are the result, many still being accepted as the only truth. Most of you have come to know and accept that the divine is within, your own true nature and real self. However, at the same time, many believe their humanity to be something separate in the belief that self is simply ego and must be eliminated. The self is self, but in the human state is conditioned by concepts and beliefs of separateness. The self cannot be left out. An absence of self-love has been falsely considered to be humility, but it is not. It is the manifestation of separation consciousness. Humility is an awareness of who you are and where any gifts you may have flow from. Many look back on their lives, believing that past actions or even present ones make them unworthy of love and find it impossible to love the person they believe themselves to be. This is because they hold false concepts of what love is. Loving self means acknowledging, accepting, and loving not only the divine within, but also that part of you that is still learning, the part that has made many mistakes and often seems to be a failure. It is a journey of bringing together the inner child and the divine self. There can no longer be a dwelling on sins of the past, for this simply serves to cement energies of the past, all of which are illusory. Remember, a person can only live out from their highest state of attained consciousness. The things you may have done long ago are not what you would do today. The inner child is a term used for the accumulated energy of an immature and unawakened state of consciousness carried with and added to, lifetime after lifetime. Inner child work can be a powerful tool in learning to love self. Although this work is often considered a psychological practice, it actually goes much deeper. The inner child is that innocent and trusting facet of you that has been rejected, disappointed, and hurt. It is the unawakened you as a small child, your individuality in its most innocent state. As the experiences of the third dimension began in every lifetime, you only knew and thus accumulated the cellular memories of a child's defenses. Most humans still carry some if not all the energy of wounds experienced in the child consciousness along with the immature ways with which they attempted to address them. As an adult, these energies begin to manifest as the immature thoughts and actions that pop up unexpectedly when you least expect them, usually in times of stress. Most adults usually ignore these feelings, not realizing that they are dismissing their inner child as irrelevant and thus perpetuating the situation. This energy can only be cleared by you. The child must be acknowledged, accepted, loved, guided, protected, etc. and it is time. Honor whatever age your inner child may be at this time. You will know through the types of inner dialogues you experience. Speak gently to this part of yourself, telling it that from now on you are going to love and protect it and most importantly acknowledge it. The inner child is the you who for no good reason often feels hurt, angry, sad, or depressed and as an immature child, afraid. Be patient, knowing as with all children, the child is doing the best it knows at that moment and needs your support. Many have intellectual spiritual knowledge, crown chakra, but until you embrace the whole of you acknowledging and accepting the child, heart chakra, there will be struggles. As you learn to accept, listen to, support, and talk to this facet of your individuality without dismissing it as nothing, it matures, first responding as a child, then an adolescent, and finally as an adult. Finally you are able to, fully integrate this healed aspect and self becomes self. Evolution on Earth is a gradual progression toward remembering and accepting the true identity of self and others through the experiences of many lifetimes lived in an energy of duality and separation while gradually evolving into a consciousness that learns from within instead of from without. Know that regardless of appearances, in reality all is perfect, always has been, and always will be. You have spent lifetimes trudging through a forest of dense and dark energy, trying to do your best every step of the way. At a certain point you began to see light filtering through the trees and moved towards it, but after finally moving out and into the bright light, you noticed that you had accumulated grass, sticks and all sorts of other debris along the way. You are now in the process of discovering and removing the accumulated debris, some of which is deeply embedded. This in turn will allow you for the first time to see yourselves and others clearly. When truth is new, there is often doubt and a desire to remain in what is familiar. However, once out of the forest and into the light, any glamour the old may still hold for you, soon disappears. This is where most of you are now, a point at which you must cease looking with forest vision. You have emerged from the forest and must leave behind the ways of the forest. You now have light which will allow you to discover an infinity of ever-present beauty and perfection previously unknown. There are no accidents at this point in your journey. All experiences are opportunities to examine your belief system without judgment or criticism. It is time to move beyond any self-loathing or other beliefs that may suggest you are less than. You are ready to move beyond intellectual spiritual studies and into the acceptance and living of it. This means your spiritual journey must include honoring, appreciating, understanding, accepting, and loving who you are, warts and all. Love can never be governed by the standards of a society still enmeshed in concepts of good and evil. Love is based in and flows out from self. Your awareness of this truth expands and grows with every unfoldment, but self cannot be excluded in the process. Try to love the journey itself as well as all you meet along the way, but most important is the knowing of self to be self and that none are more divine than you in every moment. We are the Arcturian group.